Why are we singling out one sector of one energy, one part of the energy industry to repeal the subsidies when it will, in fact, have the opposite effect of reducing gasoline prices, which even its sponsors, one of its co-sponsors, said publicly, for us not to be fooled, this will not reduce gasoline prices. It will actually hurt job production in the United States. According to the EIA study, which is the United States government, not a company, published in 2008, the oil and natural gas industry received 13% of the subsidies, while producing 60% of the energy. Let me repeat. This industry got only 13% of the subsidies, but produced 60% of the energy. It may be surprising to American taxpayers to know that of the $16.6 billion spent on U.S. energy subsidies over the course of 1 year, that oil and gas subsidies account for less than 13%. I want to say that again. Of the $16.6 billion spent on U.S. energy subsidies over the course of 1 year, fuels such as renewables, refined coal, nuclear, solar, hydro, et cetera, account for 85%. Oil and gas is less than 15%, actually 13%. You would think, because of this bill, S-940, that the big oil and gas companies are getting all the subsidies, making all the profits, paying no taxes, and the rest of us are suffering. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I'd like to say where exactly that energy comes from, because it really has a bone of contention. The senator of Alaska will appreciate this, that the sponsor of this bill represents a state that is one of the highest deficit energy producing states in the nation, because some of us do this better than others. Louisiana produces a lot of energy, and I'm tired of it. And so are the people that I represent. Here, we've seen a lot of deficit charts about deficits of infrastructure, real deficits of money, debt. Let me talk to you about the deficit and the debt owed by some states in this union that consume a lot, talk a lot, and produce nothing. There are a lot of states up here that don't produce, don't conserve, aren't efficient, and all they want to do is yell about high gas prices. Why don't you do something about it? But still, the fact remains that Michigan uses a lot more energy than it produces. And then you get down here to what I call, the gold star states. We get criticized so much, we're treated like we're some sort of pariahs sometimes, but I think we do a great job. We produce enough energy for everybody in our state, what we need, and we export it to everyone else in America that needs it. And what do we get? We get bills like this that go after directly the big companies in our state that work in our state to somehow put them in a position to make them feel like they're not really good companies, they're not American companies, they don't pay tax, they get all these subsidies. I'm going to read into the record what taxes they pay. It's going to surprise you. And then on top of that, we get moratoriums. We get permatoriums. We can't even drill for the oil we have. We can't even look for the oil we might have. And my people, when I go home, ask me, and it's a very hard thing for me to answer, and maybe Senator Bagich, they might ask you the same. They say to me, Senator, since we do so much to produce energy for the country, why do we pay $4 a gallon for gasoline? We ask OPEC to please don't tighten it so much so our prices. Why don't you go to the local OPEC or the local producers, which are Kentucky, Alaska, New Mexico, Louisiana, West Virginia, and Wyoming? Why don't you help us produce more? Because we can do it. But we get shut down by bureaucracy, moratoriums, permatorium, rules, regulations, EPA, refuges. We can't even get free to produce the energy that we can produce for this country.